So the original bill had a purpose statement, and we got rid of that in taxes because that's just what we do. But it said that the effectiveness of the credit should be measured by the total number of eligible students who receive scholarships. I think we would also want to know and measure the variety of students and if their reading and math skills and score have improved. And you talked about that a little while ago, Senator Chamberlain. So in several other areas, we get a report to the legislature with a breakdown. So it might be helpful to add a report to the legislature with a breakdown of eligible students from the 7-county metro area, and then a breakdown of the students from any of the regional centers, and then also a breakdown of those living in other areas who receive the qualified scholarships along with their demographic info. That won't tell us if their critical thinking skills are improved, but it will at least let us know who is getting the scholarship. You know, we could and should get the number of qualified public school foundations that support public schools in the 7-county metro area and in a number of regional centers, and then in the other areas throughout the state. We could get reports to see who is applying and getting the credit or a grant for a number of programs, kind of like we do in the Angel Investment Credit or the housing, or in some of the housing funds, because then we actually know who is this impacting and who is this benefiting, and do we need to tweak it. As I mentioned before, students in my district have school choices, but based on a map that I found on the Department of Ed's website, not every district or county has charter schools or non-public schools. So if those non-public schools, not all non-public schools report to the Department of Education, but I believe 14 counties don't have private schools. So how does a scholarship from a qualified foundation help them if they have no place to go? I would think that getting a report to know who is benefiting and who is not benefiting would be helpful. As I mentioned earlier, Owatonna is lucky to have companies that are generous and willing to help the public schools. St. Paul and Bloomington also have public schools below that 30% threshold, and some wealthy individuals and generous companies that might be willing to donate, so that could help their students. And Rochester has public schools at the 30% threshold, and they have the Mayo. Make no mistake, my school district will also, if this goes forward, set up a qualified public school foundation to help my Minneapolis students. But there are a lot of smaller communities and school districts that are struggling with unfunded mandates and deficits, and they don't have the wealth base to help them out. So I don't know how this will help them out. I met with the Bemidji school superintendent from Senator Eichhorn's district on Bemidji Day, and they have unfunded special ed costs. They don't get enough transportation aid to cover their true costs, and they're looking at a $1.3 billion deficit. So I don't know how this will help them. I've asked a lot of questions, and I thank you for your patience, Senator Chamberlain. I think it is good to clarify what is in the bill and what isn't in the bill. I could continue on and ask some more questions, but I do think that this needs to be tweaked, and I don't think it is providing opportunity to everybody. And so with that, I have the A3 amendment. Thank you, Mr. President. So I think there are some questions and some clarifications that need to happen in the bill, and I think the amendment removes a section of the bill related to the equity and opportunity scholarships. I ask for a roll call vote, and members, I ask for your support.